sometimes when, and especially with people you don't know, like you don't know us, you maybe think or assume that we get up here and we try to look the best that we can look for the day, and it might seem to you that everything's okay, nobody's ever had any trouble up here, nobody's dealt with anything, and I just want to say that's not true. We sit where you are more than we stand where we are today. And I want to share some things that we go through. So, and it ties into this next song of why it matters so much to me. For many, many years, I have battled my health. I'm sure there's many people in here that could say the same thing. But I began when I was 18 years old. I was bitten by bugs in the Bahamas, and 5 days later I began to have seizures. Those seizures have turned into a plethora of other things, and I don't think that there's one part of my body that has not been affected, and affected to this day. If we make it once a month and the emergency vehicles are not at our house, we know we've done good. So, it doesn't matter what the illness is called. It doesn't matter what the tribulation that you go through or the pain that I've experienced. And one thing I've learned about pain is it doesn't kill you until it does. So how long, what about we just don't live until we die instead of dying while we live? Because I'm going to tell you something, the people around, the doctors, everyone, and I'm not making anybody wrong, but they put labels on us. And in our mind, we make an agreement with that. And the word says, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. And I realized that about 15 years ago, and it changed everything for me. Because this doctor, he was a naturopathic doctor in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and he looked at me and he said, Audra, we think in pictures. So I'm going to ask you a question and just give me the picture. He said, who do you think you are? And immediately I looked at him and said, I'm sick. And he said, well, then there's nothing I can do to help you. Because the Creator has given us such an identity, and the world tries to make us identify as anything but what He has given us. And we look at our circumstance, we feel the feelings that we're feeling, whether it be pain or depression or anxiety or any of those things that, used to you couldn't talk about depression and anxiety and any of those things in the church today, but everybody at some point or another is dealing with these things. Amen. And we as a church need to come around and say, hey, this is a taboo. We're gonna pray with you, and we're gonna uplift you, and we're gonna do what the church is supposed to be doing, right? In these times of struggles that I have had personally, the sweetest things have been in between just me and the Heavenly Father in the quiet.
Come on. Yeah.
I remember there was one instance that I had stopped breathing, and we were going on several minutes, and I really thought that was done. That was it for me. And a lot of crazy things go through your head at that point. And what I realized is when I die, I still got the same sense of humor as when I'm alive. I know that. So I was sitting there going, are you serious? Really? And then my mom and dad were funny. Joe and Kim know this. And I'm like, you're going to really leave my kids to die. Are you serious? But as that went on, there was this beautiful peace that came over me, and there was a surrender. And what I felt in that moment was the veil between this world and our heavenly, the spiritual world and our heavenly destination is very thin. It is not as thick as we have thought it to be. And in that moment, I stopped being scared to die. I really did. And I don't know, maybe that statement doesn't hit home for you, but that takes a lot of fear out of the rest of your life. When you realize it's not that hard. It's a one-person job, but it's not that hard. So I have never lived my life the same as when he gave me the breath back. And I think he did that so that I could live freely and stop being so scared to die. Well, I go back to the time when Adam and Eve were in the garden. Everything was so perfect, right? And they literally walked, they literally talked with the creator of the universe, face to face. How cool is that?
Amen.
So cool. And one day, you know, for whatever reason, it's a human nature, it wasn't enough. Just to walk and talk, and I would think that would be enough. You would think that would be enough. But it wasn't enough. Because the temptation of the knowledge of good and evil, and I'm going to tell you something, we can have knowledge, but without the Spirit tempering our knowledge, we become prideful and arrogant and just exactly like the Lucifer himself. Because he had knowledge, and he thought that made him an authority, and it made him rise above it all. And that's what they were tempted with in the garden. And those temptations are still in us today. Make no mistake about that. Make no mistake that the enemy wants to make you prideful. He wants to feed your ego. He wants to tell you that your emotions should run your day. But the Bible doesn't say that.
That's right.
There's nowhere in there that it says that. It says, follow me. Keep my commandments. Love your neighbor as yourself. And when the times get tough, when David's hiding in a camp, or when he's king, he's enough.
Yes.
Not me.
Yeah.
So, I say all that to say, the girls, I think, sometimes have had a little, sometimes we, how do you put it? Some of us connect more to one song and some of us don't. But in this one, they hadn't always identified with it until right now. When we sing this song, it's called Back to the Garden. It's not talking about the Garden of Gethsemane. It's literally talking about the Garden of Eden. I want you to listen to the words of this song as we sing it. And there is a sound sweeping over the water like glorious thunder, and it's calling my name. It's the sound of your voice, majestic and splendor, yet holy and tender, and it's calling my name.
I'll leave behind the distractions. I'll give you all my attention. Lord, take me back to the garden, back to the place where your heart is. Walk with me, talk with me, call me your own. Lord, lead me into your presence. I can lay down my defenses. Just to be you and me is all that I want. 'Cause there is a peace beyond understanding when I am standing in the light of your grace. And oh, what a joy, what a gift and a wonder to dwell with the lover of my heart and my soul. Lord, take me back to the garden, back to the place where your heart is. Walk with me, talk with me, glory. You opened the gates when you tore through the veil, and there is no hindrance. I will come boldly and fall in the arms of my Father there. Lord, take me deeper into your glory. You opened the gates when you tore through the veil, and there is no hindrance. I will come boldly and fall in the arms of my Father there. Lord, take me back to the garden, back to the place where your heart is. Walk with me, talk with me, call me your own. Lord, lead me into your presence, where I can lay down my defenses. Just to be you and me is all that I want. And the joy we share as we tarry there, no one has ever known. Lord, I've never known. Lord, take me back. Lord, take me back. I wanna go back. Lord, lead me into your presence, where I can lay down my defenses. Just to be you and me is all that I want. Just to be you and me is all that I want.
Yeah.